Hi, hello, what's good, what's up? I'm Hannah and welcome back to my channel. We're gonna be doing something a little bit different today. So I saw Reading with Cindy's video about rating fanfiction tropes, and not to get like heated about it, and I'm not, but you gotta know what ABO is to say that you like it. I'm just like, okay, so I'm just gonna fully out myself. I have read and written fanfiction since I was a teenager. I started when I was 15 and I'm now over a decade's worth of experience. If you want to check my credentials, my official fanfiction degree that I got from Harvard. I have read fanfiction for a long time. I currently write fanfiction. I will not tell you what my pen name is. If you find it, God help us both. Also, legally, you cannot use anything that I'm about to say in this video against me in a court of law. None of this video ever legally happened. It's all off the record. So don't ever try to bring this up with me again in person or online. None of this ever happened. Cool. We're cool? We're cool. So with that in mind, I'm gonna be rating some fanfiction tropes today. So I've made my chart and I've got 5 categories. Basically from best to worst, we have talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular at the very top. It is impossible to do these tropes wrong. If you do them wrong, you should be shot on sight. Inherently perfect. I love them. They're great. Below that in the tier ranking is if it's done right. If it's done right, this trope is good. I actually think that a lot of tropes are gonna go in this category because there aren't that many that I think can be done absolutely perfectly. I think it usually really depends on like an author's execution and like what characters are involved if it's done right. The third tier down is y'all are boring. I find these tropes fundamentally boring, toothless, insipid, and just dull. Like, where is the flavor? If you like them, you're not a bad person, but you might also be boring. Then below there in the ranking system is Whoa There Cowboy. I very rarely read these tropes. They have to be done very, very well, and they usually have to come recommended from a friend. The lowest tier is straight in the garbage. Just put it straight in the garbage. Just straight in there. This trope is bad. I don't like it. I want it to be purged from the earth. Hate it. Just as a disclaimer before I start this, my opinion is my opinion and my opinion is subjective. If you like tropes that I don't like, of course that's fine. The whole reason that fan fiction exists is so that like we can make fiction more accessible to us specifically. It is all about like your tastes and what you think is fun and cool and whatever. So there, that's my asterisk. I am too old to fight about fan fiction. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So hello. First things first is ABO. ABO is like, I'm not gonna explain ABO. If you know, you know. If you don't, thank God you don't. But there are a few parts of ABO that I'm fine with. I think reading kink is kind of hot if it's done correctly. I think it's a really interesting concept. Omegas really want to get and alphas really want to like to the point where it drives them insane. Here's the problem. Nobody who writes this kink is interested in unpacking what that would mean at all. Nobody is interested in doing it in any other way. Nobody's characterization is preserved through this kink at all. It literally doesn't matter who the characters are. Y'all are just furries who won't own up to it. This one goes in Whoa There Cowboy. So the next one is amnesia fic. Straight in the garbage. I hate amnesia as a trope. I think it's stupid. I've never read a fic where amnesia is a trope where like somebody's characterization isn't getting absolutely fucking butchered as a result because they don't have any of their memories, so they can't act like themselves. Amnesia is permanent in the real world and it like affects very specific memories, either short-term or long-term. I never see it done in a medically correct way. I think it's dumb. At best, it's really sad, and at worst, it doesn't make any sense, and somebody's characterization is paying the price. Angst. I'm not really here for like angst for angst's sake. I'm not really here for like masturbatory tragedy because I'm not 13 anymore. But I do think that angst has a place in most conventional storytelling. If your character's going through a really difficult situation, it makes sense that they would like feel bad about it. I don't read like angst fic, but if it's done right, if it's integrated into a greater plot, I think angst is fine. So I'm gonna put it in if it's done right. Arranged marriage. I don't really care for it. I'm torn between Y'all Are Boring and Whoa There Cowboy. I don't really have too much of a problem with it conceptually, but I don't love it. I think it's because I personally like am so scared about like getting married or being in a relationship against my will. It's different, right, from fake dating, because fake dating, like both parties essentially agree to be in a fake relationship. In an arranged marriage, they're just married to each other and they're just kind of stuck in the situation and they didn't necessarily agree to it. That's not really a part of the trope, is that it needs to be consensual. And so I'm just like not very into it. The next one is sharing a bed. I have utilized this trope myself, but I really do feel like if it's done right. I don't think that this is an inherently romantic trope. I don't like find it very interesting, like just fundamentally. I've read a lot of fics where like this is the entire premise, is like they wake up in bed together. They're like, well, I guess this means we're in a relationship. Like, surely it takes more than that, huh? Next one is baby fic. Not to read all fan fiction authors, but have y'all ever met a baby? I think I have this fundamental issue with kid fic also, is that people will create kids for a couple that just like don't act like children and don't have like full-fledged personalities of their own. They're just like little clones of their parents, which is not how kids are. I don't read any baby fic where like the baby's been up for like 48 hours and it like won't stop crying and like the couple is like tearing their hair out and they've got like poop smeared on their clothing somewhere. Give me the real baby experience or give me nothing. Like, y'all don't do baby fic well. You don't write babies as characters. You write them as like a series of actions. And I honestly haven't read a baby fic that isn't like that, where it's just like, babies are cute. Look how cute the baby is. Where the baby's basically a plot device to just like show up and be cute. So I'm putting that in y'all are boring. Bang or Die. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, absolutely incredible. Just like the best to come out of Star Trek. Mwah, chef's kiss. So good. I will read Bang or Die fics until I bang or die. And it will be death. I am asexual. I am sex repulsed. It will be death. I love Bang or Die fics. I think they are incredibly hot, like very spicy. I don't think I've ever seen this trope with like two characters who aren't already attracted to each other. And it's like so fun to see like two people who might have like never gotten together, even though like yearn deeply, to have that just manifest in like an uncontrollable urge to each other's brains out. Like, you have to, or the person you love is gonna die. You have to. I have read so much good Bang or Die fic. I feel like this is a really good one too for enemies to lovers, which we all know is my shit, because it's like, ooh, but they'll die. But they'll die if you don't. Oh, you have to. Bang or Die is good. I'm taking no commentary. Bang or Die is good. Body swap. I'm sorry, I just started thinking about a really, really good body swap fic that I've read. I like body swap a lot. I think that body swap is really fun. I really like pairings where like there's some amount of resistance to them getting together, even though there's a deep underlying attraction. And I feel like body swap is very much like forces you into the other person's perspective, like very abruptly. Body swap is good. I will read body swap fic like any day of the week. Coffee shop AU. Y'all are boring. Y'all are so boring. I hate coffee shop AUs. I think at best they're really boring, and at worst they romanticize hitting on somebody at work, which you shouldn't do. It's not cute. It's not cute. College AUs. Why is it that y'all really want to read fanfic where like nothing bad ever happens? I ask because I am a drama vampire who can only subsist on intense conflict in fiction. Like, if I don't get it, I will die. So I just don't know where y'all are at. Crack fic. Whoa there, cowboy. I don't hate it, but like, what is the purpose of it? I've been in group chats with people where it's like all they do is write crack fic, and those people are fundamentally broken, and I'm worried about them. Crossover fanfic. I've not read a lot of crossover fanfic. It's kind of a niche of fanfic that I like just haven't gotten very into. So I guess I'll move it to Whoa There Cowboy because I nothing this. I don't like it. I don't hate it. I nothing it. I've never seen it done well, but I've never seen it done badly because I've never seen it. Dark fic. Whoa There Cowboy. Fic that is explicitly like just supposed to be like dark and like make you feel bad, I'm just not very into. Everybody's into their thing. I'm not gonna say you're boring. Like, if anything, you're the opposite of boring. But I do think you're kind of an edgelord, and I don't understand why that's something that you want in your life. Major character death. You know what you did. You go straight in the garbage. I don't even want to talk about it. Canon divergence. Absolutely, we love to see it. I believe very strongly that canon should only be what you like about the series and nothing else. Everything else didn't happen and you don't need to think about it. Take what you like, throw away the rest. It's fan fiction, so you own it. You get to decide what happened and what didn't happen, like who lives, who dies, who tells your story. It is your God-given right, and in fact, I think your moral duty. Canon can get fucked. We love to see it. Enemies to lovers. This should be the only romantic trope that exists. This is the only valid kind of ship. If you think I'm wrong, fight me, and then over time, slowly begin to yearn for me and continue fighting me, but we both mutually yearn for each other. And then eventually we just give in to our passion and move in together, and all of our friends are confused by it. Established relationship. I am actually pretty into established relationship if it's done right. Most stories about romance end when a couple gets together. And I think that that is incredibly damaging culturally. And also, that's the very beginning of the relationship. There's a whole bunch of relationship after that, hopefully. Fairy tale AU. Y'all are boring, and you never pick the right people to be who they're supposed to be in the fairy tale. I think if you're gonna do a fairy tale AU, you gotta be a little bit bolder than that. Be willing to change stuff that either doesn't make sense or like isn't in character. Like just fucking play with it. Yeah, y'all are boring. Fake relationship. I feel like I'm obligated to put this in my top category because I'm writing it. Okay, so I've talked about how I don't like arranged marriage trope. I like fake relationship trope, specifically because both parties have to agree to it. And when both parties agree to it, like both parties are technically saying that like, well, I mean, I guess it's not totally unbelievable that we'd be in a relationship. We aren't, but like, wouldn't it be funny if? This trope is the fanfiction version of what if we were in Target and we kissed?
What if we kissed at Target and you're wearing socks and sandals?
I am wearing socks and sandals.
So what if we kissed?
I don't know.
What if we accidental kiss?
That's this trope. Fix it fic. I'm kind of torn between if it's done right and y'all are boring. I'm fine with it conceptually. You gotta build onto the fix it fic for me to like buy in. Don't make it just like an easy pave over of like, well, everything bad that I didn't like didn't happen. That's great. That's a great concept, but like build it. Make it realistic to the universe that you're in. I love fix it fics that really get into like the butterfly effect. Like, well, if this character doesn't die, then what? So I guess that does mean if it's done right. Fluff, y'all are boring. It's fine, it's sweet, but like it's boring. It's boring. It's boring. Friends to lovers. I'm fine with it conceptually, but every time I think about friends to lovers, I just think about like the most boring ships I've ever seen and like how vehemently people defended them, and they were just so dull. They're just so boring. And like if you're into it, that's fine, but like just like own it. Like I love enemies to lovers because I am an edgelord and a gremlin and cannot be trusted and very, very into Disney villains as a child in a frankly disturbing kind of way. And if you love friends to lovers, you're very realistic, but we're not here for realism, we're here for fantasy, and this is boring. Her comfort. If it's done correctly, it's like fine. I like it, again, like as an aspect of other fics. I think if you dedicate an entire fic to like somebody getting gay bashed and somebody else making them feel better, I think maybe you need to work through some stuff in your personal life. Historical AU. If you write historical AUs, holy shit, you're a champ. I don't think I've ever seen this done. No, that is wrong. I just thought of one and I'm moving it. But if you write historical AUs, do you like pay so much attention to detail? You do so much research. The world doesn't deserve you. You're amazing. High school AU. Y'all are boring. This is the YA of fan fiction, and I just could not be less interested. Huddle for warmth. You know, if it's done right. Humor, again, if it's done right. I think that this is what crackfic is usually trying to be. That ain't it, chief. In Vino Veritas, which is inebriated confessions, we do like it. It's going in there. We do like it. Especially if like they confess and then they're like, oh my God, I'm just gonna act like I don't remember what happened, but they do remember what happened. And the other person's like, do they really not remember? And the other person's like, well, of course I remember, but like passed out before I could see how you felt about it, and now I'm so I love that shit. It's everything. It's fantastic. Drink responsibly, kids. First kiss. It's fine. Like, it's fine. If it's done, it's fine. I really don't have anything to say about this one. I think that, like, way too much is made of first kisses, but, like, there's lots of pining involved. I can be there for it. Magic AU. I feel like everything in my Y'all Are Boring tab is like, it's all like one section of fandom. Miscommunication, straight in the garbage. Hate it. Hate it. I hate it in fiction. I hate it in fan fiction. I think it's stupid. And you might be asking, Hannah, you just said for In Vino Veritas, you like miscommunication about like somebody's love confession. That's different because I like that one. It's not different. I do just want people to talk to each other. Like, just fucking talk to each other. It's not that hard. If you can't communicate, you shouldn't be a couple, period. Missing scenes. If it's done right, I think that you have to have a pretty good concept for it. But yeah, I'm into it. Mutual pining. I feel like mutual pining is such an essential component for like any ship I really, really like. They both have to mutually have feelings for each other, but like not be willing to say it out loud, or like not feel like they can say it out loud. Like, it has to be there. It has to be there. Sex pollen. Delicioso. So good. We thank Star Trek every day for the sex pollen trope. It's so closely associated with Bang or Die. They are two separate tropes, but like, especially like with how many tropes are here, I don't know why these are both here. Pregnancy fit, if it's done right. Like, PWP, I don't know why PWP is in here. Like, this is just asking if you read PWP, and I do. So royalty AU. This one I am into if it's done right. I think that there are a lot of dynamics in fiction that you can recultivate in royalty AUs. I really like royalty AUs that are like very historical. People who do these are usually like, again, incredibly detail oriented, and we love to see it. Slow burn. I am the queen of slow burn. I think there's really something to relationships that take time to develop and like justify their existence by like having two characters connect really slowly and in a very realistic way. Fiction that just like kind of vaults over that like straight into a relationship, I just find it really difficult to relate to. I think that any relationship like needs to be justifiable. Like, you need to understand why they like each other and why they want to be around each other. I think slow burn's amazing for that. Soulmate AU. I hate soulmate AUs. I hate them. I find them fundamentally alienating to my experience of romance and sexuality. I think the idea that like there's only one person that you're ever supposed to be with is really damaging and gross, and I don't like it. Time loop. I love time loop fic when it's done right. I've seen a lot of really good time loop fics. Time loop, it can be a really great way to like replay a situation many, 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 many different ways. And it's also a really fun way to torture your characters. So there's that. Love triangle. Hate it. Don't like it. Think it's dumb. If your love triangle doesn't end in polyamory, I'm not here for it at all. Unhappy ending. Blocked. Blocked. All of you are blocked. None of you are free from sin. Why would you do that? I've spent 150,000 words or more reading your fanfic and it doesn't end happily. I will come to your house and cry on everything you love. Not that all endings have to be happy. Of course they don't. I deal with enough shit in my own life that I don't really want to read stories that are fundamentally sad or tragic. Unrequited love. If it's done right, I think that unrequited love is tough because I think that there is this sense like if you love somebody and they don't love you back, like it's only a matter of time until you can convince them that you are worthy of that love. And I actually think that unrequited love is almost entirely based in fantasy and in imagining somebody to be a different person than they truly are. And so I'm not very into it. And with that, my camera's gonna die, so that's the end of that. Thanks for watching me rate fanfiction tropes. I think fanfiction is fundamentally punk and amazing, and I am such an avid supporter of it as an institution. I just am so happy that like rating systems like this exist so that we can all express ourselves and like what we like, and that fanfiction exists in that same vein so that we can all manifest what we like most about the art that we enjoy. Oh, by the way, Black Lives Matter, and I've left some donation links down in the doobly-doo, as well as other ways that you can still help the movement. And yeah. Okay. Dope.
White children are robbed of true education because they're not giving historical facts that will make them appreciate people who don't look like them. That's different from saying, you're born white, you have a privilege, that's your fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that because our educational system will teach radicalized history that's not true from a proper perspective, it robs you of an opportunity to appreciate your neighbor because you don't see him. Mm-hmm. So as a black kid, me not seeing myself in the history books is corrosive for me because it makes me think I wasn't there. But it's almost equally and just as bad for you because it robs you of an opportunity to see that others were there.